It's gonna be a little bit of a late night tonight. So I am currently finishing up a video edit in the middle of packing for a little trip. My fiance and I are getting out of town for a few days. We're gonna go visit Bar Harbor area in Maine and, you know, just kind of get away, disconnect for a little bit, take a little bit of what I feel is a pretty well-deserved vacation. And yeah, in the process of doing all that stuff, I figured I would just kind of sit down and give you guys a 3-year update. Because if you guys can believe it, I have been a full-time content creator for 3 years now, which honestly is absolutely crazy to me. Bet a lot of you guys didn't think that I would make it this long. And I gotta be 100% honest, I didn't know if I was gonna make it this long. Like, I definitely bet on myself when I went full-time with all this stuff, but truth be told, I was very, very scared. I would shit my pants a little bit. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with my story, for those of you who may be new to the channel or haven't been following the channel for that long, I started this whole content creation thing just as a fun way to share some of my private gear collection. I had been collecting amps for somewhere around 5 years or so, and people were always asking me about, you know, my collection because I would post in a lot of the Facebook. What? Seriously, how did I make it for 3 years at this point? Good Lord. I would post in a lot of the Facebook groups. I would post in a lot of the online amp-related forums. I always was kind of just searching new tones. I was collecting different amplifiers, and I had kind of built up a collection of amps that a lot of people didn't really know how they sounded. They kind of knew some of the lore behind them. They had heard about them before, but there weren't a ton of good demo videos on some of those amplifiers out on the internet. So I decided to take it upon myself to do the best that I could do, which I didn't feel at the time was gonna be very good at all, in order to make some videos for those amplifiers, just to showcase some of the tones and stuff. It actually started out with just, you know, I credit Reza with the way that I started doing my videos, because it started out with just a camera on the amplifier, and I would leave it on the amplifier while I was dialing in the tones and stuff. I did not make an appearance on the camera for quite some time. It probably took, I don't know, maybe a little bit over a month and like 7 or 8 videos before I actually made an appearance on the camera. And that was actually because people were telling me that I should be in the videos. And for, you know, the first few videos, I didn't really agree with them. I never found myself to be like a charismatic person. I never thought that I was an interesting person, honestly. Like, whenever it comes to like big social circles and stuff, whenever I would find myself in big social groups, I was never, ever the center of attention. And I kind of felt like, you know, in order to be a successful YouTube creator, personality, influencer, whatever you want to call it, you had to be one of those people. You had to have that it factor, and I definitely did not feel that I had that at all. So I was pretty hesitant, pretty resistant to putting myself on camera, because I honestly thought that once I did, that the whole channel would just bomb and people would just disconnect right away. And by some grace, I have no idea how, people actually started to connect with the channel. I'm very, very surprised by that, and I'm super thankful that, you know, things have elevated or escalated to the point that they have now. I mean, I kind of just saw that people were connecting with the channel. The views seem to be going like pretty well for somebody who had just started out. I've seen so many videos about, you know, you have to create videos for years and you'll only get 1 or 2 videos or 1 or 2 views on those videos for years before your channel will finally start to kind of cultivate an audience and maybe start to take off. But I mean, I was getting between 500 and 1,000 views, sometimes more, on every video that I was posting right from the very start. So I kind of felt like I was onto something, and I took it and I ran with it. But I ran with it as a hobby. I didn't really have any intentions for the first few months of doing anything other than making fun content and connecting with people, and just kind of slowly but steadily growing the channel on the side of me, you know, working a full 50-hour-a-week job and carrying on a life and being in bands and doing everything else that I had to do to try and disguise myself as a normal person as part of society, which I'm not really that. I'm a pretty weird guy. So I kind of just buckled down and continued to make videos because I was having a lot of fun with the whole YouTube experience. As I was putting more videos out there, as the channel was growing, I was connecting with new people, and some cool people started to take notice of the channel. Fluff being one of those people who found me very, very early on. I think that he reached out to me, or I reached out to him. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but we connected when I only had somewhere around 2,000 subscribers, and he was one of the first people to tell me that, like, dude, you should go for it. He kind of believed in me from the very beginning, and that means more than anybody will ever know. Another one of those people is Joe Balaguer. He was probably the first person to actually tell me, like, dude, you have something with this YouTube channel. You should take it and run with it. And I was like, nah, like, I don't think so. And he's like, no, for real. Like, I can tell that, like, your channel is connecting with people. People are going to enjoy the content that you make. You should really kind of lean heavily into it. And I took that very seriously, what he said, and I did. I started to take it more seriously. I started to put more effort into my videos. I started to have a very consistent upload schedule. I was waking up at 5 a.m. to edit my videos before I would go to work at 8. And then I had an hour lunch break from noon to 1 p.m. at my job. I would literally drive home as fast as I could. I would sit down, I would film a video, and then I would work until 5 or 6. I would come home, have dinner with my fiance, and then I would upload the footage that I had just recorded over my lunch break onto my computer and organize the files and stuff. I would set up the video for the next day before I went to bed, and that was literally my entire day. And I just kept doing that day after day after day. Every waking moment that I had was basically consumed with me making content and trying to fit that around the other obligations that I had in life, mostly a full-time 9-to-5 job. So yeah, I really did, like, give it my all. Like, every free moment went to the YouTube channel. And I'm glad that I did that the way that I did it and when I did it, because 3 years ago, almost exactly at the time of filming this, in July of 2021, I lost my job. I got fired. I had worked at this job for 5 years and generally was, you know, I was content in this job. It definitely was not my dream job by any means, but I made good money for not having a high school degree. I made really good money for not having a college degree or any sort of formal training in my field. And I kind of felt like that was as good as it was gonna get for me in the actual regular person professional career path, just because I kind of had no direction in life in my early years. I never really figured out what it was that I wanted to do, what I wanted to pursue in life. I dropped out of college after my first year. I worked a bunch of terrible jobs and was very, very poor for the first, you know, almost 10 years of my adult life before I finally got that job. And even though I didn't love the job, it definitely afforded me some luxuries that I definitely didn't ever think that I would have in life after what I had previously gone through. So for me to lose that job was a pretty big deal, even though it was something that I was expecting because the way things were going at the company, new ownership had taken over, some new people had come in charge that I was butting heads with. They were running things in ways that I was definitely not in agreement with. I was continually asked to be doing things that were not actually part of my job. They were actually union jobs because I worked in an office with a union shop, and those were jobs that I was not supposed to be doing at all per the union, not per, you know, my employment contract or anything like that, because I'm not the type of person to say, that's not my job. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm kind of a team player, and I'll do anything that helps the next person out because I believe in teamwork in a job setting or in an office setting. So, you know, like the fact that I am that type of person and I was still finding myself in situations where I'm like, man, I really should not be doing this. Like, this is not cool. Along with some of the other changes that the new management was imposing on us, I just knew that I wasn't gonna last long anyways there. I was becoming increasingly more and more unhappy with the way that things were going, and I had actually started in my mind to already make plans to go full-time with the channel, but it was down the road a little bit. So to end up losing my job, to end up getting fired well before that timeline that I had placed in my head was definitely scary. It was a little bit of a wake-up call. It kind of put me in the mindset where I'm like, okay, now I really need to grind. I really need to make this work. I've really got to start figuring this out, making connections and getting things right, or this ship is gonna sink fast and I'm going to be in a really bad place. So I did exactly that. One of the first things that I did after losing my job was go to Summer NAMM in Nashville in 2021. I think it was like 5 days after I got fired. I went down there and just started networking immediately, met as many people as I could, met with some fellow content creators, met with some heads of some companies and some marketing people of some of the guitar gear companies that were there, and just started making connections right off the bat, started trying to make impressions on whoever it was that I could, because I knew that I really needed to start making things happen in order for this to be a reality, in order for the channel to go full time. So that was 3 years ago. I feel like the channel has been far more successful, far more successful than even my wildest dreams. Like I'm not even kidding. Like I'm sitting here in my studio building. I now have my own dedicated studio, which also doubles as a recording studio, which also doubles as a part-time store for my own private sales of my gear collection, which also doubles. I realize that's a lot of doubling. The math doesn't really work out. Didn't finish college, don't forget that. As a small local venue, and I literally am living out a dream, because these are all things that as a kid I dreamed of having. Having my own recording studio, like having my own venue where I can book bands whenever I want, run things however I want, and just kind of have a spot to facilitate all the things that I truly love to do in life. On top of being able to play with guitar gear and be a guitar player for a living. I mean, really, that's kind of icing on the cake when I consider everything else that I am able to do with my life at this point. Like, again, just far exceeded my wildest dreams, and I couldn't be more thankful. I could not be more thankful for everybody that has helped me along the way, but most importantly for you, the viewer. I've said this more times than I can count on this channel, and I mean it now more than ever. I don't get to do any of this without you, without the person who watches this channel, without the person who supports this channel, who subscribes, who likes the videos, who shares the videos. I know all that cringy YouTuber stuff, you get super tired of hearing it, and I totally get that. I totally understand. It's so saturated, it's so overdone at this point. Unfortunately, there is a game that you have to play in order to hope to be successful at all this stuff. But I think those of you who are out there actually truly supporting content creators and what we do, I think you guys understand that, and you look past it and you continue to support us anyways. And I seriously could not be more thankful of that. Like, I've been told by multiple companies, multiple owners of companies, of amp companies, of pedal companies, that I have a very loyal following. Like, I don't even have to like deduce that from what you guys say and do on the channel. Like, I have people coming to me and telling me that I have a loyal following through the YouTube channel, and that's nuts to me. It's really hard to like actually fathom and think about. I've said it many times on this channel, but there are so many days when I feel like I'm just posting videos into the void, or posting Facebook statuses, or posting YouTube community posts, and they're just going out into the air and they're disappearing, because it's really hard when you're by yourself day in and day out making all this content and posting these things on the internet to really like realize the reach that something like this YouTube channel has. It's not often that I actually get to go and physically interact with people who watch the channel, or even just randomly meet a subscriber on the street. But funny enough, the reason that I'm making this video is I actually coincidentally ran into one of the earliest channel subscribers today while I was out on my motorcycle. I was out just kind of taking a short ride with my fiance. I'd actually gone down to the Bayfront to pick up a camera mount, and I passed a guy on a motorcycle. I gave him the 2-finger salute, and I saw that he kind of looked at me but didn't give me the wave back, and I was like, all right, well, fuck you too, man. But it turned out that he actually recognized me as he was driving by. So he actually circled back around and followed me. And when we came up to a red light, he pulled up next to me and he's like, hey,
I'm one of your subscribers.
And I'm like, get out of here. Like, what are the chances that I run into an actual subscriber? I'm out on my motorcycle, he's out on his motorcycle. He's not even from Erie, he's from Pittsburgh, and he drove up, he was driving through the area and decided to stop on the dock. I don't ever go down to the dock, and I just decided to take a ride down there. It was like the timing, the coincidence of all of it was really, really crazy. But honestly, it completely made my day. It really kind of turned around. I was feeling kind of stressed out trying to get everything done before I leave for this trip. And I've got so much stuff going on that it's just kind of hard to like keep my thoughts straight sometimes. And sometimes my head starts to go into a death spiral when I'm not organized and not keeping myself organized and on task enough, because I start to panic because of all the stuff that I have to do. So to kind of be in one of those modes, and then for that to happen, to just, you know, the chances of running into this guy and actually getting to say hi to him and say what's up. And he was an early Patreon member. So Matthew Worm, thank you, man. I appreciate you. It was really cool to run into you today, but stuff like that just absolutely makes my day. And it reminds me that like this channel does reach real people. It affects real people. And even though I don't get to see that all the time, that is the reality of it. And that's honestly what drives me. That's what keeps me going. And it's just something that I have to remember in those times when things are feeling, you know, maybe I'm feeling a little bit detached from the channel, or things are feeling a little bit stressful or depressing or whatever. I genuinely just really need to like stop, take a look at some of the comments, because I do read the comments, because the vast majority of the comments on my channel are positive. And again, I thank you guys for that. I thank the viewers for that. We have cultivated such an awesome community here, and apparently I have a loyal following as well. And it's just cool to see that, you know, a lot of you guys keep returning to the channel, and not only returning to the channel, but supporting what I do and spreading positivity, because that's what I want to do. I want to spread positivity. Yeah, I want to talk about gear, and yes, I have to make a living while I'm doing this, but mainly, I just want to spread good vibes, man. I want to have a good time. I want to share amps and guitars and gear and have fun doing it. And I want you guys to have fun consuming the content that I put out there. And hopefully you learn some stuff. And hopefully videos like this, you know, give you hope. If you're thinking like, man, I'm stuck in a place that I don't want to be. I wish that I could be something else. I just need to take that first step into trying. Let me be the person to tell you whatever it is that you want to do, do it. Do it now. Stop waiting. I wish that I wouldn't have waited as long, because I'd be further along than I am right now. And even though I am super happy where I am at the moment, I'm just telling you, if you need to hear it, take that step, become that content creator, start that photography passion that you've always had, start recording bands, start a DJ service, whatever it is that you want to do, start your Dorito art company. I don't care. Whatever it is, man, just do it. Take that leap, do it, because I did. It worked out better than I ever could have imagined, and maybe it won't for you, but at least you'll know you tried. And best case scenario, it does work out for you. Your life has changed forever, much like mine is. And then you cultivate a loyal following on YouTube, and you get to make videos like this and reflect on how lucky you are as a person, because that's what I'm doing right now. And yeah, I don't know. This was kind of like a pointless rant, aimless rant, like a lot of my videos tend to be when I sit down and just talk to the camera. But ultimately, I just wanted to express my gratitude to you guys. It's been 3 years. Those of you who have been following me and supporting me from the beginning, thank you so much. Can't do this without you. I can't express that enough. I cannot do this without you guys. And I hope that you know that I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for changing my life and allowing me to live out a dream on a daily basis. It's surreal. It really is. And I appreciate you guys. I was just, you know, having a rough day the other day, and I kind of just sat back and looked around, and I'm like, I have more in life than I ever dreamed. And honestly, once I sat back, had that epiphany moment, and, you know, came to that realization, I have been in just a great place ever since. And it just all comes back to this channel, and it all comes back to you guys who support it. So thank you guys for literally giving me everything. Seriously, I cannot thank you enough. Yeah, my video is probably done rendering. I have to get up and drive 12 hours tomorrow in about 5 hours. So I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. We've got some great stuff coming up. Please take that first step, follow your dreams, do it for yourself, do it for me. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.